When I moved to Calgary in 1984, do you know what the average price of a home in Calgary was at that time? Drum roll. Hey, welcome back to John's Hazy Crystal Ball. Here we are, first couple days of April 2026, and guess what? Winter is back. Love it. It's supposed to have somewhere between a minimum of 10 to 35 centimeters of snow. Trudging through it a few minutes ago, I'd say there's at least 25 out there right now. Regardless, it's great. It's all melting. And probably by Monday or Tuesday, we'll be back to nice green grass. Anyways, this month's special feature, not going to be talking about the regular stats that I do and whatever else. You can read that or see that anywhere and everywhere else. I want to ask you some fundamental questions. Is now the best time to buy or sell? I guess it depends on your responses to many questions, which in turn will determine the best action plan for you. It's not the same response for everyone, because everybody's circumstance is different. So, what type of questions, John? Well, simple. What's your age? What kind of status are you with regard to being single, married, in a relationship? Do you have any dependents? Things of that nature. How about, are you going to have your other siblings living with you? How about what I call parents basically have the rebound kids? How about yourself? Could you maybe have your parents coming in to possibly move in with you or whatever? What's your job security like? What city do you live in? What's your lifestyle like? And what's your overall attitude with regard to being an optimist or pessimist? Okay? Then the question is, why are you thinking of either buying or selling or investing or whatever else it is at this time? There's countless other options, other questions. They're all paramount. And with that, then you can determine what the best course of action is for you. So that's where we basically come into play. We have copious numbers of questions we'll ask you to help guide you to make the right decisions with regard to whatever you want to do. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, wait a minute. I want to wait for things to change. Well, wait a second. What does that mean? Does that mean to say you're waiting for what? Prices to go up? Prices to go down? Inventory levels to go up or drop? How about interest rates? Okay, right now it's relatively stable. I'll talk about that in a few minutes. How about world peace? Yeah, give me a break. That's never going to happen. Okay, and then what about, I want a change in government. Basically municipal, provincial, federal, whatever, or something else in the world. Who knows what's going to happen? Bottom line, waiting for the market to drop, to come back to your price, or whatever the case is, every month you wait, the marketplace is stealing money from you. You might say, what are you talking about? Well, basically what happens is, the longer you wait, you basically have to lead the market from a price standpoint. Put yourself in the shoes of a buyer, not a seller for a moment, and I'll talk about buyers in a second. From a seller standpoint, they want to get the best deal out there. So think of it being in a car race or a horse race or whatever. Okay, so let's say there's 20 cars in the car race, and you're running number 10, 15, even number 18 or 20. What's the probability of that car winning the race? The answer is slim to none. Bottom line, if you're not in the if you're top 5, maybe you have a chance. But if you're top 3, you have a far better opportunity. But if you're number 1 or number 2, the probability of leading at any point in time and then subsequently winning is dramatically higher. Same thing with real estate. Okay, if you look at all the properties out there, don't think as a seller, think as a buyer. What are they going to pick? They're not going to pick the one that's $10, $20, $30, $50,000 higher. They're going to pick the one where they feel they get the best price. Now, what does the price mean? Is that a combination of location, condition, size, other amenities? Absolutely. But they take that whole basket of goods, put it together and say, yeah, you know what? I like that one best because it's going to fit my lifestyle better than anything else I have. So that's there. Flip the coin. Let's assume that's if you're a seller. As a buyer, you might say, I should wait because interest rates are going to drop. Okay, or alternately, well, I'll wait till there's more inventory. Well, here's a question. What price range are you looking at? So basically, with the right guidance, we can show you in the various communities and or specific communities that you're looking in, what's your current availability of product, and is it basically a buyer's market or seller's market? There's so many variables coming into play. I can be here for the next hour just talking about being a buyer or a seller. It's not the point. I just want to get you to think about this and say, hey, wait a second, maybe I should be talking to you guys and get some insights with regard to giving me some direction with regard to where I'm going to go with this. Okay? So the question I have for you is, what's holding you back from acting? Doesn't matter whether or not you want to invest, purchase your own first home or upgrade, or sell a property you have. Okay? So bottom line, reach out to us. Let us guide you to make informed decisions that are going to be the best options for you, from which you can basically take the next step or just hold still. Okay? As simple as that. Okay? Now, you've heard this before many times. When's the best time to have done anything? Yes, 20 years ago, or whatever timeline you ever heard or believe it could have been happening. Just like investing money, having bought a house, bought that cottage. Well, I should have gone to Europe whenever, etc., etc. Next best time? Right now. Doesn't matter what's going to be happening. Let's stop here for a second. When I moved to Calgary in 1984, do you know what the average price of a home in Calgary was at that time? Drum roll. $84,000. Today, 2026, what's the average price? So granted, we talk about benchmark price, median price, whatever else. So just to stay consistent, the average price and across all segments. So this is similar to 1984, apartment, condos, townhouses, row housing, detached homes, etc. The answer today, approximately $700,000. You could argue and say, no, it's really more like $625. Doesn't matter. Bottom line, massively higher. So you look at that differential. The longer somebody waits, the higher price is going to go, simply because of inflation, if nothing else. But compounded with that is, let's assume you bought a revenue property. The tenants are paying off your mortgage for you. 1984, 2026. What is that? 26 and 16. So what's that, 42 years? In 42 years, that mortgage got paid off typically within 17 to a maximum 21 years, depending on how much equity you put down initially. So bottom line, the tenants bought that property for you at no risk or cost to you, and now you have that asset at a massively higher value, and it's making you extra money. So great passive income. Now, I talked about interest rates. Where are interest rates going for 2026 and even 2027? Well, if you asked that question a couple of months ago before this war in Iran took place, the answer was probably interest rates are going to be relatively flat for this year, increasing in the last quarter. Now, given everything that's happening and our inflationary levels that we're having right now, I've marked these words. Interest rates this year are going to stay flat. However, watch out 2027. Because of inflation and other factors and what's going to be happening to the overall economy in Canada, I bet starting as early as January and guaranteed by March of next year, rates are going to be up a minimum of 50 basis points or 0.5% over where they are today. And by the end of next year, they'll be up a minimum of 1 to 1.5 points higher than they are today. So if you're looking at renewing your mortgage, buying a new property, whatever else, now's the time to be locking in my opinion. If you want more insights into that, call us up and we can talk about that later on. Okay? Now, other question to ask yourself based on, do you want to buy or do you want to sell or whatever the case is, what's the inventory levels by segment? So similarly, it sounds like a broken record over here. Apartment style condos, you can't give them away these days. They're dropping, the values are dropping like a rock. I had what I did an analysis on yesterday. Last year I did an analysis on this property. It was worth $350. Today it's worth $285. Okay, that's one specific property. Fantastic building in the downtown core of Calgary. It varies. Again, as mentioned previously, if you're in the northeast sector of the city, there's a massive number of inventory apartment-style condos out there. You can't give them away. Best thing to do, in my opinion, hold on to them, because basically within possibly 2, but more like 3 years, they're going to rebound considerably, and you're going to be able to recapture any potential losses you have at this time. Okay, what else am I going to be talking about today? Slow down talking, John. I talk too quick. Too bad. No, you guys catch up. Anyways, couple of things. Picked up, actually I listened to a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and I bought the original book here, which is David Chilton, when he wrote The Wealthy Barber, probably, God, I don't know when that was, early, late 1980s, something like that. I can't recall exactly the time. Really great book. He came up with a brand new version, basically 2026 version of identifying everything else, and I just finished reading it. Absolutely highly recommend you buy that no matter what. I don't care if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever else. Fantastic reading, gives you some great insights into a lot of things without going into a lot of specifics. The one thing it's fantastic for is, I'd say, anybody who's under the age of, 40-ish or so, guaranteed must read, understand. It's really simple, okay? Very simplistic, but to the point, and tells you exactly what you should be doing with regard to your financing, the type of insurance you should be getting, and all sorts of other things, the type of wills you should be putting together. It's basically an encyclopedia insofar as how you should be preparing for your current as well as future life from a financial standpoint. So something I very highly recommend. Again, The Wealthy Barber, fully updated, all Canadian version. By the way, one thing I really talked to David, and I commend him for this. As you see on here, Canadian flag. If you buy it online or Chapters Indigo, which is I did, 20% off. Unlike the previous version, it is not available in Walmart. It is not available in Costco. It is only available through Canadian retailers. So kudos, David. I think fantastic, given this discussion we're having with those people down south of us. Anyways, book recommendation. Number 2. Again, recommend 2 podcasts that I strongly suggest to recommend you listen to. One is actually put together by my daughter, Alex Ripko, or Alexandra Ripko. It's available on Apple and Spotify. It's called Still Me, Also Mom. So again, Still Me, Also Mom. It's a fantastic podcast where basically she interviews mothers of all ages. Mothers who just delivered. Some of them have had a kid in the last 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. Others have kids in their 20s and 30s. Really insightful. One thing that amazed me that Alex told me is that a fairly large percentage of the listenership, I guess, because it's not viewership, it's just an audio, it's not a video, are males. So it's surprising that, in fact, I was surprised when she told me the numbers, what percentage of the audience are males. So again, Still Me, Also Mom on Apple as well as Spotify. And also, coming soon, drum roll again, it's going to be called The Ripko Experience, Real Estate Refined. Basically, this is also being headed up by Alex, and I'm going to be in there from time to time. Basically, identifying various topics, phenomenal interviews, opinions of all sorts of types, as well as some very incredibly in-depth knowledge that's going to basically help you make decisions that are best for you at that time. Again, that's going to be available on Apple, Spotify, and I guess on YouTube as well, but regardless. Anyways, bottom line, a little bit different session this month. Act now. Doesn't matter what you want to do. You want to sell, sell. Why do you want to sell, though? That's going to be a fundamental question. You want to buy now. Don't just jump off the ledge and buy something for the sake of buying. Make sure it's the property you want. Alternately, we do handling a lot of investments where people are saying, maybe now's a good time to invest. And depending on what kind of product you're getting into, absolutely. Determine, whether or not you have the, we'll call it gumption, if you wish, to basically invest some funds into what I call future passive income. Those tenants will pay off those properties on your behalf. You don't have to manage these on your own. There's a lot of companies out there like City Search Rental Network that will manage this on your behalf, and basically you just sit back, collect the rent the 15th of every month, and see that value appreciating. Granted, remember, this is real estate. We have cycles. It doesn't just go straight up, doesn't go straight down. There's cycles. But over the longer term, one thing happens. The value of that property will increase. You're not day trading stocks over here. We're not in the equities marketplace. Basically, real estate is a long-term hold. My opinion, long-term, minimum 3, ideally 5 or more years. And if you're investing, just like in the equities marketplace, you don't buy a stock and trade it tomorrow because it means 5%. You hold on for the longer term. Buy the right blue chip stocks, you're going to make money. Have the right guidance in buying the right property, you will make money. Anyways, that's it. Love to hear from you. Love to have your comments, and basically get back to us as well if you want to see us interview anybody special in our podcast, the Ripko Experience, or alternately, what kind of topics you'd like to have covered. Cheers. Have fun. See you next month.